Hi there, I'm Laura Thomas, and I'm sitting here today with my friend Debra McCall, holistic therapist and author of Poetry the Body Knows. Second edition was published in May of this year, and I understand today we're going to do things a little bit differently.
We are. So people these days don't like to sit still for long. So today's interview is going to be shorter, and it's going to incorporate a little action, since people love action flips.
They do. Okay, I can't wait, but first a brief recap. An important factor about this book is that it's not a book of poetry per se, but rather a do-it-yourself manual for self-healing.
Yes, that's correct. There are poems in the book. However, they're packaged with stories and exercises called roadmaps, so people can do their own work in their own home. If you heal your body, you can heal your life if the journey's taken with consciousness and intention.
That's awesome. I'd like to know how you incorporate this in your therapeutic practice.
Sure. So the way this shows up for me in practice is if a client comes in, for instance, with a pain in their back, and I release that pain, and next week they come back with that same pain, then first I'll explore, well, what repetitive activities might they be doing that's setting up or triggering that pain? Now, if they're able to shift their activities and they come back and the pain persists, then I'll explore what emotional issues might be under that pain, if they're willing to go there. So chronic pain, in other words, persistent long-term pain, often is the top layer. And underneath that are emotions that are buried. It can be undigested grief, undigested anger, undigested sorrow.
Absolutely. I'd like for you to take a deep dive into one of the chapters that illustrates how that works and incorporate some action into it.
I would love to do that. And the poem, Uninvited Places, illustrates this in a very powerful way. So, to do the action piece, Laura, if you'd be willing to assist me.
Yes, that would be great.
Okay. So the first line of the poem, Uninvited Places, states that when an elbow moves over the iliac crest, deep into the muscles of the gluteus maximus, for layman's terms, the iliac crest is a butterfly-shaped bone that holds the gluteals and the pelvis together. So to get into the spirit of this piece, imagine somebody sliding an elbow over your gluteal maximus. And the interesting thing is, if you're not holding anything there, it will feel just like pressure. However, if there's something that needs to be released, you will notice discomfort. Thank you, Laura, for that assistance.
Absolutely, Debra.
So now I'm going to share the poem Uninvited Places, so buckle up because it's a pretty intense experience for the person that the poem is describing. Uninvited places where body work meets life. When an elbow slides over the iliac crest, deep into the muscles of the gluteus maximus, it enters a sweet spot, midway down the ilium, called by some the uninvited place, which provokes a response from the person on the table. Stop, don't stop. Because the muscle has held this tension so long, it's ecstatic to be relieved of its burden and frightened to what this means. With its job done, what will it do? Without this pattern of resistance, how will it be? How do we open ourselves to the 100 daily deaths life asks of us? Relinquish fear to the opening of wings, wear the teachings of the body into the world. How do I let you in to the uninvited places I carry? Yes, this rib was broken by the hand of an unconscious father, and you are not him. Place your hand here. I will receive it. How do you say? Begin to imagine saying, yes, I was thrown in the cellar by my mother more than once, and you are not her. Place your feet next to mine. I will walk with you. How do we let darkness and light flow through without burning their templates onto the skin of our days? How do I risk the whole of myself to the whole of you? Mire dusted with stars, and say, please don't stop.
Debra, that was so beautiful, yet so intense.
Yes, life can be intense, and our bodies record it all. However, if we listen to our bodies with trust, compassion, they can lead the charge to our healing.
So if we read the roadmaps for this chapter, they show how to begin this healing journey with our own bodies.
Yes. And if you'd like to expand the exercise, you can do it with a trusted friend or partner.
That's awesome, Debra. This has been great. If you would like to grab your own copy of Debra McCall's book, Poetry the Body Knows, the second edition, which came out in May, is available through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Strand, and Everand. And we appreciate you joining us today. Until next time, this is Laura Thomas speaking with Debra K. McCall. Thank you.